it's Teresia here, co-founder of the Erickson Business Center, creator and facilitator of the Passion to Profit program, and most importantly, your personal business building mentor. Today, what I want to share with you to help you take your talent and passion for coaching and turn it into a profitable business is all around the enrollment conversation when somebody shows interest in working with us as a coach. Now, if you haven't checked out part 1 of this video called Turning Prospects into Clients, I highly encourage you to do that because it really sets the foundation for the conversation that we're going to have today. And you can find that video on our Erickson Business Center TV channel on YouTube, or go to the Erickson site and under blogs, under the Erickson Business Center blog, you'll find it there also. All right, so we're going to talk about, what I want to give you today is the system and the process that you use when somebody says, hey, I'm curious about this coaching. I want to find out more and see if it's the next best step for me. As the entrepreneur, to have clarity of what you do after somebody opens that door, to know exactly the process that you want to bring them through, gives you confidence, allows you to relax into this process. And it also, because you have that confidence and clarity, your potential client, it just increases their trust. They can relax into the process also. So we really want to take a leadership role here and guide them on the next steps. So for some of you who are really ready to just jump in and master this process, highly recommend that you check out the product that I created on this called Turning Prospects into Clients. We're going to I'm going to share with you different pieces in this product, but you'll get the whole enchilada in the product. So go to teresia.com, under products, look for the product called Turning Prospects into Clients. Okay, so let me give you an overview, enough today to get you going. I'm going to use a template based on the template that you have used in Module 1. So you all learned the coaching arrow. And using this foundation in these initial enrollment conversations is very powerful. So maybe you might want to hit pause now and go grab your coaching arrow, because I'm going to be referring to this, because there's 4 main areas when having these enrollment conversations. The first one is what I call pre-qualifying. And if we look at our coaching arrow, under the rapport, we're also pre-qualifying. So rapport and pre-qualifying happens before they even show up for the complimentary coaching session. Statistics shows that it takes at least 5 touch points for somebody to take action on doing business with you. So for example, what I mean by that, as a coach, they may have had 5 touch points by perhaps hearing you speak, then going to your website, then reading your blogs, being on your newsletter list, interacting with you on Facebook, and then they finally contact you and say, hey, I want to do this complimentary coaching session. So, and through that, they're developing a relationship with you. You may not be developing a relationship with them, but you're developing rapport and credibility with them by the time they contact you. So, and also another great way to pre-qualify and develop this rapport is sending them out a questionnaire. When they show interest in working with you as a coach, send out a questionnaire first that they need to fill out before you have this session. And in this questionnaire, again, in the product, we give a sample of a template of this questionnaire. But it could be, in this questionnaire, there's things like, have you worked with a coach before? What do you really want to create in your life? What might be getting in the way? How do you like to best be supported? So they fill out this questionnaire. You get a copy of this before you actually meet and have this complimentary session. It's also a great way to pre-qualify, because if they fill out this questionnaire and actually show up for the complimentary session, their commitment level is quite high. So we're developing rapport before they even show up. So that's why it's important to have a strong marketing strategy. And we've talked about that in other videos. Then if you look at the coaching arrow, the contract. So once they show up for the complimentary session, there's two key distinctions here with the contract. One, you are stating the contract. Okay, so you are stating the contract, and also the contract is not about just that session for the day. It is about your coaching relationship, the duration of your coaching relationship. So for example, at the beginning of the session, you're going to want to pre-frame what's going to happen by stating, it can go something like this, Frank, I'm really looking forward to having this session together. Let me just tell you what you can expect from today. Today is an opportunity for you to get an experience of my coaching style, but most importantly, for me to really understand what you want in your life and what you want to create. And then at the end of this session, you and I can decide if working together is the next best step. How does that sound? So if he says yes, you are set up for a powerful conversation. So you are stating the contract, and the contract is getting clear of the contract for the coaching relationship. All right, so after the contract, then you're going into your planning questions and the outcome frame. And again, the planning questions, the outcome frame for the coaching relationship. What do they want to accomplish in the next 6 months, the next year? And within this is what I call the body. So we've pre-qualified with the rapport and the contract. Then we're moving into the body of the conversation. And in the body of the conversation, we're wanting to create what I call like an emotional shift. We're wanting to make sure we're getting to the aha of what they really want, or identifying what they really need to do to create what they want in their life. And often in this enrollment conversation, you hear an energy shift. Sometimes there's tears, sometimes there's excitement. So when we get them to that point, then we know we've touched on what they really want in their life. And that's what this enrollment conversation is all about. And it's one of my most favorite things to do, because we really get to be in the body of this conversation. We really get to be in coach position and ask those powerful questions and find out, like, let's get real here. What do you really want to create in your life? What do you really want to change? How do you really want to make a difference? And when you hit that you know what? It's so easy to move into the next stage. And the next stage, I'm going to come back to create an experience. The next stage, we're really moving into the action steps, which with this process, I call this the invitation. So once you get the you supported them to get really clear what they want, and they're excited, you're moving into inviting them to do business with you. So for example, some language, and again, outline a lot of the language in the product, but an example of the language here could be, Frank, it's so exciting what you're up to, and it's really clear that this is important to you. I'm curious, is this the time in your life to really commit and make this a priority? And if they say yes, then you say, would you like me to be your coach? But we cannot get to this point until we take these other steps to get to this point where it's just a natural next step to ask them to be your coach. All right, so that's the action steps. That's like, okay, the invite, what's next? And then we can, also with the action steps, the invite, once they say, yes, I want you to be my coach, then you'll go over, okay, here's the coaching programs. This is how the coaching works. And I'll do another video on that. Like, okay, once you get the yes, how do you get the financial commitment? All right, and then as it shows on our coaching arrow, then we celebrate. Wow, congratulations. Congratulate them. This is a big step. They've committed to going for what they really want in their life. They committed to working with a coach. This is big. So those are the main steps. Again, using the template of the coaching arrow, we're pre-qualifying, we're going into the body, and then we're doing the invite, and then we're celebrating. A quick note on creating experience. Again, in the previous video, part 1 of the video, talked a lot about this. Creating an experience is more about giving them an actual, sort of traditional coaching session. This isn't always appropriate in this enrollment conversation. When you help them get really clear of what they want for their life and then see if they're committed, encouraging them to commit to go for it, that's the value of this complimentary enrollment session. All right. I hope I gave you an overview and the template that can make a difference for you today. Again, if you want more and you really want to leverage and master this, encourage you to check out the product at teresia.com under products. But, you know, I encourage you when somebody, express that they're interested in working with you as a coach, be clear of the steps you want to take them through, because your confidence and your clarity is going to make a huge difference in their trust and being able to relax to really explore what they want for their life. This is it can be a really fun, exciting part of building your business. So I hope my enthusiasm for it and my belief system and my process makes a difference for you. All right, until we connect again, I encourage you, dream big, access your inner entrepreneur, and turn your passion into profit.